this board state. How can you not see this as the epitome of Arena, really? What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's been quite some time, but trust me, I have a deck for you today that's going to make up for it. This is my Mizzix Planeswalker deck. This deck is so good, I truly believe that Wizards of the Coast bans this during peak player times, because whenever I'm playing it during the time where I believe most people are going to be on, it absolutely tanks. But if you play it at any other time, you win almost every game in a disgusting manner. The core of it is drawing and discard as many Planeswalkers as you can, and then using Mizzix Mastery on Triumphant Reckoning to bring them all back in one go. We also have other ways to achieve this with Scholar of the Lost Trove and Unburial Rites, and also 2 Emergent Ultimatums in there, just for the extra spice. Without further ado, we're going to jump straight into it so I can show you for yourselves how good this deck really is. So any opening hand with Faithless Looting you pretty much want to keep, aside from when you don't have a red land. So unfortunately this is almost a perfect opening hand, but no red mana, so we're going to sadly mulligan it. Back into a Faithless Looting, turn 1, insta keep, drop off one of the draw spells, don't need too many, and honestly, this looks like a pretty good start. You cycle through this deck so much that it doesn't really matter what's in your opening hand as long as you have some draw and discard. So we have been slightly unfortunate on the draws so far, but I'm sure it's going to be okay. This person seems to be playing, like a lot of people, mono white life gain. Heavy mono white life gain. Okay, so there is a Planeswalker we can drop off. Let's just get the coloring correct. Drop this down for white. Now, Faithless Looting, in my opinion, is the far superior card in the deck because it allows you to draw and then discard. Unlike Thrilling Discovery, which you have to discard first, because as you can see, it'd be nice to have dropped Emergent Ultimatum. Though we are on track to just, honestly, winning next turn, really. A lot of people just tend to concede as soon as they see all of the Planeswalkers that hit the graveyard. So we're going to drop you, and drop you off, and look at that. First game in, next turn, turn 4 Emergent Ultimatum, and then pick all of these boys out of the graveyard for an insta-win. So now we Mizzix Mastery, Emergent Ultimatum, of course. It's a bit unfair against a mono white deck, but what can I say? No mercy at all. So choosing Liliana, Triumphant Reckoning, and Omniscience. Whichever one he chooses to get rid of, we've already won the game effectively at this point, because with Omniscience you can use Mizzix Mastery to get any of the draw spells back, and then basically just cycle through your entire deck and win pretty much consistently on turn 4. As I said in the intro, I'm recording this now on a non-peak time, so not like 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening when everyone's off from work or from school or something like that. So yeah, this deck truly destroys. This guy might just rope us out of Salt, because I mean, mono white weenies, I play it myself, but there is a lot of roping and Salt I find when you just decimate them. So we'll see what he's going to give us. And okay, so he's given us Omniscience and Liliana. And honestly, at this point, I don't know how long it's going to be until he just concedes, pretty much. Because we drop this, we can drop you down, pick up Thrilling Discovery. Okay, you're going to gain a life, sure. Drop these 2 cards off. Everything is free at this point. Triumphant Reckoning. And now, in one turn, however much mana this is, for the simple cost of 4 for Mizzix Mastery, is just ridiculous. So we are just going to go ahead and start annihilating his hand. Nicol Bolas, the Dragon God, works far too well in this deck because he can copy every other Planeswalker's ability. So just like that, he's down to 1 card. In hand, give him the emblem. Then sacrifice 2 creatures, really make sure that his board state is ruined. We get to draw an extra card, not that it really matters. And at that point, honestly, it's just a waiting game. We can cycle this land next turn, but I'm pretty sure he's going to concede. I mean, look at this, turn 4, you have a 10 mana enchantment, you have 4 Planeswalkers, Scholar of the Lost Trove, all for 4 mana. This deck is the best. And I'm just going to fast forward to when he concedes. And there we go, GG. So we have in our opening hand, Faithless Looting, Resurrection spell, and a card to use it on. honestly, perfect. Let's get into this. Hopefully, Mayo 120, you don't rope me out if you get too salty. Though, judging from this opening, I might be the one that's getting salty here. Let's have a look. Drop this down. Faithless Looting. Definitely going to be discarding Triumphant Reckoning. So, let's go. We've got 2 more spells to discard next turn as well. And I'm sure we're going to hit the Mizzix Mastery. As long as it doesn't get countered. A counter spell does or can very much impact this deck badly, though there are a lot of ways to get around it. So with Unburial Rites, you can cast it, it can get countered, you can cast it again. The only thing that really destroys this deck is anything with Graveyard Hate. Once you have like a halfway decent graveyard that you're looking to resurrect, if someone just exiles your whole graveyard, you may as well concede. It's the only downside, but it is what it is. This person's already seeing what this deck is about. Hopefully they just play a bit quick. Because honestly, there are way too many people in this game that take forever. So let's go. Ether Spellbomb, classic. You missed a land, unfortunately, there, buddy. So, actually, going to be worth Faithless Looting instead of Cathartic Reunion, just to see what we can get. Maximize the mana we can use. If this person will pass priority, please. Thank you. Drop off Chandra. Drop off a Shockland, because we don't really need it at this point. And then that is our turn. Next turn, if we were so inclined, we could get Chandra back. Though maybe it's worth digging a little more. We'll have to see. It depends on what he plays. The deck tends to run Crucible of Worlds as well, I think. Oh, he really is not drawing the lands that he needs. That's unfortunate. I always prefer a good game than a one-sided game. So we're gonna Cathartic Reunion. Drop off these 2, we don't need them. Draw into Vraska. Hello. Okay, so drop off Vraska, drop off the Triome. And next turn it's definitely going to be worth. Now next turn we could bring Vraska and Chandra back, which normally is a game ender, or we could be greedy and try to drop off Emergent Ultimatum. But judging from his mana and everything, we're just going to go for the win here. So drop this down, Mizzix Mastery, Triumphant Reckoning, such an amazing card. Let's bring these 2 back. For the Salt, because I feel like this is an important part of the deck. Actually, no, let's go for the win. We can just put their life total to 1, and that's pretty much game. Start this off, pass the turn, and let's just see if he's even willing to wait this out. It is unfortunate about his land situation, though this deck, everything only, I think the maximum cost is like 2 or 3 if he has, is it Keenan, the 4 mana green blue, but it's not looking like he's drawing what he needs, unfortunately. Though he's not doing too shabby, but against this deck, it's just game, there's nothing you can do. So we can also -3 Chandra and effectively wipe the board. Make as many Thopters as you want, it is not gonna help you. Thank you. Drop a land. -3. Does he concede? Do you think he's gonna concede? I think he might concede. Do you not read the, it's -3, bro, not -4, but that is okay. I'm gonna plus you up. We're gonna drop off these 2, and now next turn. Now next, do we have another one in the graveyard already? Yep. So I tend to find when you already have 1 or 2 in the graveyard and 1 in hand, it can be a little safer sometimes just to hold on to them in case they get rid of the graveyard, but not in this case. GG. On to the next, pretty much guaranteed win. So this is not the greatest starting hand with double Emergent Ultimatum, but you know what, we're gonna keep it and see if we'll take that little risk. Omniscience as well. Okay, if we can drop this off at least, draw into Mizzix Mastery, we could be sitting well for a turn 4 win. We're just going to have to see how it goes. Drop off you two. Okay, at least we drew another draw spell. The main setback is when the game goes, you've been winning too much. I'm not going to give you any of the like 15 draw spells you have in your deck, and because of that you lose. So as long as you at least have one, you stand a chance. So we're going to drop this, discard the Ugin, Liliana. There's a Faithless Looting. Do we have a red untapped? No, I have to shock it in. That is okay, totally worth it. Because now Mizzix Mastery for next turn. Nah, that'd have been cool though, that'd have been cool. We have a Scholar, no Scholar, so at least we have one revival spell down that we can use. Unfortunately, the game has decided that 3 wins in a row might be a little unfair because this deck... I've been playing Magic for almost a decade, maybe a little over a decade. And I've been playing Arena basically since it came out, and this is, without a doubt, the strongest deck I've ever built, played. I've played against variations of it, and nothing has nearly come close to just wiping the floor as the version that I built did. The only issue is, it is a very pricey deck to craft, because everything in it's mythic, and it's just random mythics of planeswalkers and some spells. But look at this dude's looking at this graveyard, terrified. We get a Mizzix Mastery and it's completely like, look at the one Mizzix Mastery, everything gets for free. We get Ugin, Liliana, Ashiok, Sarkhan, like it's game. I'm not even worried what this dude's doing. Now I'm getting worried because we have absolutely nothing to do. This is force loss. This is what I'm talking about. This is Wizards of the Coast just looking at the deck and being like, no. You know what? You know, you're almost halfway through your deck, but there's like 4 Mizzix Masteries, 3 Scholars of the Lost Troves in here, which we could almost hardcast at this point. Speaking of, drop you for blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so next turn we win. Realistically, this is how the deck go. Even if the game tries to make you lose, it's impossible. Like, I've done nothing but draw, just done nothing this whole game until I can get to 7 mana. Go on. Discard something for me, please. You're helping me out here, bro. I'll give you a nice for that. Thank you. Discard Ugin. I mean, at least I can't hardcast him after the second one hits the battlefield. What you doing? Oh, you took the Ugin. Okay. Bold move, my friend. Bold move. Exile my graveyard or lose. Let's be very cocky. Hit him with a preemptive GG. He's seen the Scholar. He might even concede before I get to play it. Let's have a look. Play this. Even if he insta-kills it, the effect still stands. Triumphant Reckoning. Unless he has Cling to Dust, that would be huge. But fingers crossed he doesn't. Do you? No, I think he can activate Priest of the Forgotten Gods. It's okay. Do I die on the crackback? Well, I'm on 1 life. I'm on what? Am I going to win some 1 life? With Ugin, I can exile. Exile is not dying. Whenever it dies, each opponent loses life. So first I go 1, 2, 3. And I live on 1 health. And I win on 1 health. What a game. If this doesn't show you the strength of the deck and make you subscribe, I don't know what is. This game... What is this game? What is this deck? I'm hoping you're enjoying, really. Leave me a comment down below if you're going to consider crafting this deck or giving it a go if you have a bunch of spare wildcards. Honestly, it is worth it. And now we can just Emergent Ultimatum for free. Okay, we had to... Okay, so choose 3. I'm going to go Scholar, Chandra, Faithless Looting. Why not? He's obviously going to get rid of Chandra, but does it really matter? Not really. I mean, look at this. We waited until we had 7 mana, and then I don't even know how much mana value we got out of this. 5, 5, 8, 6, 10. Casting it for 7, I mean... GG. GG. Now, if we sequence this right, we can cast Faithless Looting twice. And I sequenced it wrong, but that's that's okay. You live and learn. So now we go for another Emergent Ultimatum. Just messing with this guy at this point. Almost feel bad, but at the same time, I completely don't. So if we get another Triumphant Reckoning, we can reset the Ugin, which will be nice just to smack him for 3. This board state comes out of nowhere. This deck is just OTK not even OTK, over the top OTK, because you don't need this you don't need all these Planeswalkers to win. But I mean, look at this board state. How can you not see this as the epitome of Arena? Really, this deck is it's chef's kiss in terms of Magic. Oh, look at that, Nicol Bola, and he concedes. There we go. 3 for 3 on games, winning on 3 HP, but really on 1 because I gained the 2 life there. And yeah, let's see if we can go 4 for 4. Okay, so it's been a couple of hours since I recorded that last match, and I'm just curious to see whether my theory still holds. When I say that it does not work during off-peak times, I don't mean all of the time, but I mean compared to what I would describe as maybe like a 75-80% win rate during the day, I am just curious to see if it would be any different now that a little time has passed. So I mean, from the get-go, from this opening hand, it does seem pretty good. I think it very much is just going to depend on whether or not I draw into Scholar of the Ages or some other form of spell that can help me out here. So far it all does look pretty good. Getting enough draw spells, got Mizzix Masteries and the Unburial Rites. Already have 2 good reanimator targets. Now let's just see. This guy, it has been some time since I played this deck. Not necessarily because the deck is bad or anything similar to that, but I grinded to Mythic with this deck in the I can't remember exactly, but not long enough than it should have been for a singular deck. So this deck has been on the back burner a bit for me because I like focused out and played this deck maybe a little too much. But honestly, that was probably a mistake. I mean, look at this, turn 4. First thing we're gonna play. Let's just, let's not be greedy. Let's just go Triumphant Reckoning. Hit this down. We're gonna -4 immediately. And honestly, game 4 for 4. There's been no cut games. There's been no cut losses. These games you're watching have been in a consecutive sequence. And boom, look at that. 4 for 4. Maybe this deck has no longer just been like put on the back burner by Wizards, but we'll have to see. This is definitely more of a reason that you should stick around to see more of the videos. Maybe check out some of the other ones if you like them as well. I'm going to go into the 5th and final game to see if we can go 5 for 5 with this deck.
Psych!
GG.
Heartbroken.